very welcome to this tutorial in how to cleanse your oracle cards. Now, this tutorial can be used on tarot, any deck of cards you have to use with. Spiritual hygiene is a really important and intrinsic part of looking after your cards. Yes, they're made of cardboard, but they hold spiritual energy, and the more you harness that, the more protective you are about the tools you use. Now, if you're using your cards on other people, it really is very important that you practice this. I always say intuitively, so some people cleanse their cards after every use, some people do it at the end of the day, others once a month. It really is down to you and your own spiritual practice. Now, what's the first thing we'll begin with? Let's begin. So here's a brand new deck of my Enchanted Forest Oracle. And as you can see, it's fully packaged. And what I like to do when I get a brand new deck is I like to begin by opening it. And so as we open the cards, we don't know what has been through the whole process of them being packaged and getting here. Now, I cleanse every single oracle deck before I post it out. I just want to say that, as that's just who I am. And I say a little incantation over it. But the first process is we begin by opening the deck. So as we open the deck, you'll see the guidebook here. It's a magnetic clasp. And so you open your magnetic clasp and the guidebook pops out. So we'll save that for later. And here we are. So the cards are in alphabetical order. And what I think is really important process when you get a deck is start by touching every single card. Now, why do we do this? It's really important to get your energy on all of your cards. So you start the process. Now, I have a selenite plate in front of me. Selenite is self-charging, so little crystals on top of your deck keep it safe, but I like to place my cards. You don't have to have a selenite plate, by the way. I just like to do this for myself. And you touch every card one by one. And try and create a bit of space for yourself as you do this. So if you are having a busy day or your mind isn't on it, maybe save it for another time. But light a candle, light some incense, bring in your guides, and just be mindful. Be very present in this moment. And as you're touching each card, invoke your angels, your guides, and touch every single card. Now, what does this do? You are imbuing the deck with your energy. And so you're putting your energy, this is your deck, your tool, and you are literally placing your energy. And that's really, really important. Now, this deck is in alphabetical order. And what I like to do then is, as I have touched every card, you will then start to shuffle your deck. Now, and I just find this a really important part of when you first get your deck. Now, by the way, you can do it the other way around if you want to look at every picture. You can turn it the other way around and do it that way. It really is what's up to you. And sometimes I find if you turn it the other way around and you're looking at all the pictures as you are going through the deck, you get a real feel, you know, automatically be like, oh, that's a lovely image, that's a really nice picture. You'll automatically know if you're bonding with the deck. Now, I like to fan the cards out as such. For me, incense is a fantastic way to cleanse, as you're getting rid of any energies that have accumulated in the deck. And you'll even find sometimes the way, do you see the way the incense is kind of moving away here? It really doesn't need to be cleansed. I cleanse every deck before I send them, but I still like to just make sure that they're completely. So again, you can invoke in your angels, your guides, your goddesses, your deities, your ancestors, whoever you're working with. I always find it's really lovely to invoke Archangel Michael, Saint Germain, and I ask you to cleanse this deck for the highest good, highest order. The divine in me knows the answers to my questions. I am a divine and willing recipient to the answers, and so it is. Whatever works for you. And when you've done that, that is your deck completely cleansed. And you can start to shuffle. and get ready for the first question you're going to ask your deck. Now, I cover all this in the extended version on my course, and you're more than welcome to purchase it, but this is just a lovely mini one. So when I have the deck cleansed, I tend to put a crystal on top. Now, the best crystal to place on top of your deck would be selenite, as selenite is self-charging. I have a plate here and I'm placing my crystal on it, or I have an obsidian cat here, and so when I'm working I normally have crystals. Carnelian is a lovely one, and you'll see that some of my decks here have some lovely bags on them. I have clear quartz here, I have tourmaline, carnelian is self-charging, I have a lovely piece of amethyst here on an amethyst bag. But what I like to do here is when you're working with a deck, I leave it out like this on a selenite charging plate with a crystal on top. But if I'm not using the deck, I always recommend purchasing a little bag and then placing your crystal on top. Or my decks have a magnetic clasp here, and I find the box here, you can store it in the box once it's sealed and looked after, because don't forget it's a spiritual tool. So sometimes little hands can find their way to your deck, or somebody well-meaning can go and shuffle your deck, but when somebody handles your deck, they're placing their energy onto your deck. So really important that crystals are self-charging and they're helping cleanse your spiritual tools. So it's just basic spiritual hygiene. I go into all the other different tools I have on the table here in my tutorial, but for now, thank you so much for watching this tutorial on how to cleanse your cards.